ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Dear friends, I am extremely happy to meet you all. I think most of you are meeting for the first time. How many of you have met me earlier or have attended other programs? Anybody? So all of you are new, that's very good. So you will not mind my repeating some of the things from the earlier programs. That is safe. ये तो बोले एक ही बजा रहा है बाजा. Very good. Just for my knowledge, how many of you are students? Yeah, so about 30-40% of students. Rest are, I think, from various fields, executives and managers, and they are all employed in various capacities. Very good. The topic of the program is time management for everyone. It is very, very important topic for all of you and for me also. I am included in that, everyone. What do you mean by everyone? Any human being who is born has to have time management. Irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion, nationality, whether you are manager, executive, officer, housewife, student, teacher, any occupation, any human being has to have time management. First of all, let us know what is time. What is time? Have you ever thought what is time? According to the theory of relativity of Einstein, time is not in a straight line, it is curved, it is relative. When the speed of the light is 1,86,000 miles per second, at that time afterwards the time has got its own limitation, it's got its own curve. So time is curved, it is not a straight line, time is relative. And you can find out the time is relative from your own experience. Supposing you are waiting for your beloved friend, the time is given at, say, for example, 11 a.m. You start waiting for him or her 10:30, 10:45, 11 has come and now you become impatient. 11. Afterwards, every second seems like an hour, isn't it? And supposing you meet, finally he or she arrives, appointment is of 5 minutes, but when you leave each other, already 1 hour. You thought it was only 5 minutes. Because you are enjoying so much, when the time slipped away, we do not know. So time is relative. Again, not only from Einstein point of view, but from our own individual point of view also. So time is relative. It is not in a straight line. But how do you define time? One of the convenient definitions we can say is that time is the duration between two events. Is that okay? Time is the duration between two events. Now for all of us, what is the time available to us? From the time we are born till we die. From birth is one event, death is another event. What is the time available to us? The time between our birth and our death. Of course, We will not bring in the theory of reincarnation here. Some of the religions, they believe in theory of reincarnation, that no, it is only one lifetime. Again you are born. Punarapi janamam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam, iya sansare, bahudustare, krupya aho, pai murare, bhajagovindam, bhajagovindam. That is the stotra by Adi Shankaracharya, where he says, a human being goes, takes birth, again dies, again takes birth, again dies. This wheel of birth and death is going on till one gets nirvana, one gets mukti. Till that time it goes on. But we will not go into that controversy. Some people may not believe in the theory of reincarnation. Some religions do not believe in the theory of reincarnation. Now, of course, modern science is now believing. They have found out thousands of cases. Mr. Stevens has made a lot of researches on this, and there is a book by Dr. Reynolds Moody, MD, Life After Life. But we will not go into that. For the time being, let us see. We all agree that we are born. Anybody having any doubt? Now, another information I give you, a piece of information which is not palatable, is that we are all going to die. The most certain thing in the whole world is death. Most certain thing. You know, Yudhishthir was asked this question, which is the most wonderful thing in the whole world? You know the story of Mahabharata. Pandavas were in exile and they were going through the forest. For 14 years they have to be out. And now they all felt thirsty. So Yudhishthir said, Bhima, you know, he is the hero. He has to do all sorts of odd jobs. Bhim, we are all thirsty, do something. Okay, wait. Then he went, he climbed a tree, and then he saw nearby, yes, there is a pond. He said, I am going to the pond and bring you water. He went, and these people are waiting. For them, every minute is like 1 hour. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. Bhim is not returning. What happened? Arjuna, next hero. He went in search of Bhim now. Went to the side, the direction in which he had gone. Never returned. Again 1 hour waiting. Then again all the brothers went. Lastly Yudhishthira, he said, what is the matter? All the 4 brothers have gone and never returned. He went. And then he saw, when he went to the pond side, 4 brothers were lying dead. They were all dead. And then he was very, very miserable. And then he went to take a piece, just a drop, a little bit of water from the pond. And suddenly the Yaksha came. Don't take water. I give you warning. I gave this warning to all your 4 brothers, and this is what has happened to them. Same thing will happen to you. Don't touch water before you have replied to my questions. Then Yudhishthir, he is a wise man. He did not take water like other 4 brothers. Yes, you ask questions. And he went on asking many questions. Yudhishthir replied all the questions. One of the questions was, what is the most wonderful thing in the whole world? What is the most wonderful thing in the whole world? Had we been there, we would have immediately told Taj Mahal is also one of the 9th wonder. 9 now it has come already, you know, and less discovery. It is already one of the 9 wonders. So we would have told about 9 wonders of the world. At least Taj Mahal is, we are proud, one of them. So he would have told about it. But Yudhishthira was wise. He said, the most wonderful thing is this. People see before their own eyes their friends, their neighbors, their relatives dying. Sometimes their own family members dying. They go to the cremation ground. They have seen with themselves, with their own eyes, that people are dying. And now, that time media was not there. Now media every day, whole day they are showing this only. You know, media is negative. So they want to show negative things, where all things are happening, how many people are dying. So dying everywhere. Here there is a bomb, here there is a flood in Uttarakhand, here this, and everywhere it is death. Every day thousands and thousands of people are dying. This is a fact. And Yudhishthira says, every human being has seen someone dying, at least on TV, if not in real life. Small children have also seen the death. And those who have grown a little more, they themselves have gone to the cremation ground. They have seen the people dying. And yet, Yudhishthira says, this is the most wonderful thing. Every day we are seeing death all around. Every day we know our relatives are dying, so many are dying, so many our family members are dying, they have died. And yet every man says, every person believes he will never die, he will or she will never die. This, you find out for yourself. Does this idea come to us? We do not allow the thought to come to us. No, 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 no. And when somebody speaks of death, the parents will say, oh, don't talk about death. Amangal ho jayega, amangal ho jayega. But this is the fact. It is the hard fact of life. Anyone who is born has to die. If you are not born, you will not have to die. But obverse and reverse of the same coin. This is life. Life and death are obverse, reverse of the same coin. Happiness, misery, obverse and reverse of the same coin. If you take happiness, you have to take misery. If you take life, you have to take death. Now, why? No question of why. This is the rule. This is the game of life. This is the game of life and death. If you are born, you have to die. Why it is there, we do not know, but this is the phenomena. And if you go on asking why, unlimited time will go. Better is, Buddha says, do not waste your time in calculating from where the arrow came, who shot the arrow, when did he shot the arrow. First remove the arrow. By that time, otherwise he will die, the patient will die. First remove the arrow. So Buddha says, I do not want to discuss all these things, whether God is there or not, Atman is there or not. I know world is full of suffering. I know there is death. And before we die, we have to do something about it. Otherwise, we are going to have suffering. So my only aim is to reduce my suffering. That's all, Buddha says. So somebody asked him, you see, we have heard that you do not believe in God. Then Buddha said, where did I say so? When did I say so? Oh, that means you believe in God. When did I say so? Then Buddha said, I don't say anything about it. Because it is futile to go for the philosophical questions, but this is true. You may or may not believe in God, but this is a fact. Death is there, certain. This is the most important thing. The management of time is the management of time that we have at our disposal. Just before death, whatever you want, you can do. After death, you will not be able to do anything. Whatever you want to do. So, most important thing is the goal of life. What do I want to achieve before I die? We will also come to the usual techniques of time management. I will tell you. The paper has been given to you. But before that, I want to give you something which no management expert will give you. And this is the most important thing. We may have the latest methods of techniques of time management. You will be saving each and every second and prepare a very nice project. Ultimately, you present it and then you find out you did not have to give this project. The project was this project belongs to somebody else and you were supposed to give some other project. All your efforts of 1.5 years gone to pieces. First of all, know what is your project and then you start working on it and save time bit by bit. What is your project? And you take a wrong project and finish it very nicely, very efficiently, before time to discover that was not your project. All efforts gone. So, most important thing is, what is your project? What is your right project? What do you want to achieve before you die, so that there is no regret. Arey, humne to ye nahi kiya. Like Alexander the Great. You know the story of Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great came, he conquered the whole world. Now India has to be conquered. So he came to India. When he was coming to India, his master Aristotle said, when you are going to India, please bring a nice gift from India. So what can I get? You see, there are very good saints available in India. Please bring one saint for our country. So Alexander was in search of a saint. After a long search, he found one saint when he was passing through a forest, sitting on the last bit on a bit of rock, deep in meditation, very bright face. He was very much impressed. After his meditation over, he taught to him. Oh, what a mine of knowledge! And he was very much impressed. Then he told that saint, please come with me to my country. I have told my guru, I will bring very good saint and I am very much impressed by your wisdom. Please come to my country. I will build a beautiful palace for you. Very nice food, nice clothes I will give you. Please come. And the saint smiled and said, why should I come to you? I am very happy here. I don't need your food. This river is giving me water. This tree gives me fruits. I don't need clothes. The sky is my cloth. And I don't need any house. I am very happy here. I don't need your palace. I don't need your house. I am very happy here. Why should I come to you? No, you have to come. I have promised my guru and I will bring a saint and I am very much impressed. You must come. I will not come. You have to come. I will not come. Now nobody dared to oppose Alexander the Great. You know, he was so powerful. Nobody had dared. And here is the ordinary saint, poor person, not listening to him, and then he became very much annoyed. He just drew out the sword. If you don't come, I'll cut your head. And when Alexander's sword came out, he did not have to use the sword. The other person will faint and die. Immediately he will faint down with the great sword coming out. When he drew out the sword, the reverse thing happened. The saint laughed very heartily. You fool! You want to kill me? Don't you know the sword cannot kill me? The sword cannot pierce me? Don't you know the fire cannot burn me? Don't you know the air cannot dry me? Don't you know the water cannot melt me? I am the birthless, deathless, ever pure, ever blissful Atman. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledyanti na shoshet maruta, acchedoyam, adayoyam, akledyo shoshevacha, nitya sarvagatasthanu, achaloyam sanatana. Reverse thing happened. Alexander had never seen any person standing with so much of courage before his sword. He became terrified. The sword fell down from his hands. And then the saint said, you fool, you want me to take to your country? I can see with my third eye, you yourself are not going to reach your country. And the history says, this is what happened. Alexander could not reach his country. On the way, he had a very peculiar type of disease. And when he was dying, he asked his general and made a request. I wanted to meet my mother. You know, he was very much attached to his mother. I wanted to see my mother before I die, but I think I will not be able to do. The death is overpowering me. But this is my last wish, that when I die, when you bury me in the grave, let my hands come out of the grave. General said, we will surely follow your advice, but we would just like to know the reason why you are making this peculiar request. Then Alexander said, I conquered the whole world. I have so many elephants, so many horses, so many kingdoms, so many ornaments, so many gold coins, so many silver coins, so much of property, so much of power, and yet I am so sorry, I am not able to take even a single thing with me at death. Let the whole world receive. Alexander conquered the whole world, but he went empty-handed. This saint has not got a single horse or a single elephant or a single coin. At the time of death, he is smiling, and I am weeping at the time of death because I could not control myself. I conquered the whole world, but I could not conquer myself, and so I am going empty-handed. That saint conquered himself, and so he is going with a smile. This is the message what Kabir says, जब तू आया जगत में जग हंसे तू रोए ऐसी करनी कर चलो मरते समय तुम हंसो जग रोए. You know, when a small child is born, it is weeping, and all others are so happy, they are clapping. And by chance, if the child does not weep, then others start weeping. Something wrong with the child. And the doctor says if he does not weep, this is the real fact. If the child does not weep at the time of death, at the time of birth, he is going to die. He will not survive. And so they call the doctors, then the doctor gives injection, and then he cries, and then all people they clap. Yes, very nice. जब तू आया जगत में जग हंसे तू रोए. All were happy and smiling, and you alone were weeping. Now you live in such a nice manner, make time management such a manner, manage your time in such a manner that when you die at the time of death, you have got no regrets. Yes, I utilize my time for the activities, for my own purification. I served the people. I was not selfish. I was doing unselfish service to my parents, to my relatives, to the society, and I don't have regrets that I have misused my time. And so, I have of course earned money. I have made best use of my money. I have of course enjoyed, but without disturbing anybody else. And so, I have got no regrets. I have not troubled anybody. And so, with the blessings of all, I am going to the abode of Lord. I am so happy. भगवान का नाम लिया, भगवान का काम किया, भगवान के पास जा रहा हूँ, क्या आनंद है. And let others weep. इतने अच्छे आदमी थे चले गए. What a nice man he was, and he has died. Let them weep. But at the time of death, you are so happy. That is the real success of life. We are talking about success. We want time management. Why? Because we want success in life. But what is real success? Yes, of course, there are three types of success: temporary success, short-term success, long-term success, and also eternal success. What type of success we want? If we want everlasting success, everlasting happiness, everlasting peace, if we want to conquer death, then we have to utilize our time in such a manner that we don't have any regrets. Everybody has to think about himself or herself. What is the ultimate goal of my life, so that at the time of death I don't have regrets that I did not manage my time properly. This is real time management. Time management of the whole life, not only of 24 hours. I will come to that, how to manage 24 hours later. But how to manage the whole time of whole lifetime. And the most certain thing is the death. We have to die. If we are born, we have to die. What is the most uncertain thing in the life? Most certain thing is death. And the most uncertain thing is the time of death. We do not know. Just the other day, we had one of our very good devotees. We received the news that he has died. I talked to him just a previous day, and next day I received the message. He was taking a cup of tea in the morning, and he died. He had a heart attack, died. So many people, just they were going, met an accident, within a minute, gone. So many things can happen at any time. Anybody can have death at any time. There is no guarantee. Some people, I will come to that. Some people they say कि अभी 100 साल तो जिंदे रहेंगे ना. That is 100 साल का कोई guarantee नहीं है. That is a human span. अभी average age है 70 years for India. From 35 years it has come to 70 years. But that does not mean you will live 70 years. Because some children are dying at the age of 1 year and some are dying after 100 or 99 or 92, 93. ये सब मिलकर के average age होता है. Average age comes out of that. So because the average is 60 years or 65 years, that is no guarantee that you will also live for 60, 65 years. Because you find sometimes a child only one day born is also dying. So most certain thing, death. Most uncertain thing, time of death. So we have to be prepared for that. But anyway, so what we should do is that we have to first of all keep the goal of life. What do I want to achieve? So that I don't have regrets that I did not utilize my time properly. And as I told you, how much you can achieve depends upon your time management of the whole life. Swami Vivekananda, many times he said, I will not live to see 40. And really, he passed away at the age of 39 years. But within 39 years, he had conquered the world. He had finished his job. He knew that I have very limited time. So sometimes I jokingly say, the days of test matches are gone. Now one day. After one day, 20-20. But Swamiji played 10-10. Kick. 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. Within a week, 20-30 lectures. There, America going here. So many towers. And within 39, He has finished his game. But he told, I am going to talk about in the evening, today evening you must come. Swami Vivekananda, voice without form. I am going to talk about it in the evening, so I am not giving you just now, but one thing he said, that whatever, he was asked this question, why do you want to give up your body so quickly? Because just a few days before 4 July 1902, when he gave up his body, he told, when I die, cremate me here. And he also told, within a few days I will die. He knew that he had already earmarked the date as 4 July, but he did not tell others. He only told that within a few days I will be leaving this stage of life. Then he was asked, why do you want to give your body so quickly? It is only, you are so young. Then he said, I have done enough for next 1500 years. I have done enough for next 1500 years. Somebody was saying, why another Vivekananda is not coming? But first of all, let us finish what this Vivekananda has given the message. This itself will take 1500 years. Abhi pura thali bhara hua hai, bole aur lao. Arre pehle isko to khao. We have not yet finished our thali and we want more food. He has already given the message which is enough for us for next 1500 years. Already, normally when people die, his obituary is the last newspaper report. Finish. But here what happened? At the time of death, he was very popular. When centenary celebration, he was much more popular. Now 150th birth anniversary is going on, is still more popular everywhere. So why? Because his message is perennial. So whatever it is, every one of us, all the great people we find, whether in the past history or whether present alive, they somehow or other, consciously or unconsciously, they are practicing some techniques of time management. Knowingly or unknowingly, they are practicing, which we are going to talk about. They are practicing, and that is why they became great. But the most important thing is that if we want success in life, we must know what is the goal of life, what is the purpose of life. And this is what the modern science also says. So far we were thinking that success will depend upon IQ. But 1991, Daniel Goleman made a research in this management and said no, EQ, emotional intelligence, is more important than IQ. And the latest discovery, as you know, of the modern science is SQ. Dana Zohar, she is a professor in Oxford University. She has written a book, the name of the book is SQ, Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence, where she says neurologically, physiologically, biologically, psychologically, from every point of view there is a concluding evidence. There is something called SQ, which is the basis of both IQ and EQ. What is IQ? IQ will tell you how to play the game of life. What is EQ? Emotional quotient. EQ will tell you how to play the game of life under changed circumstances with changed strategies. And what is SQ? SQ will tell you whether to play the game of life at all or not. That's your choice. What is the purpose of life? What is the aim of your life? What is the ultimate aim of your game of life? This is development of SQ. And ultimate success will depend upon IQ, EQ and SQ. And SQ means knowing the purpose of life. And what could be the purpose of life? We have to think for ourselves. But fortunately, we have got the modern quantum mechanics, which has come to our rescue and which also gives vent to this one, that yes, the ultimate reality is beyond all that. The ultimate reality is beyond time, space and causation. Beyond time, space and causation. And Einstein says, in the book World as I See It, he says, the true value of a human being is determined primarily by the measure and the sense in which he has attained to liberation from the self. The true value of a human being is determined primarily by the measure and the sense in which he has attained to liberation from the self. So this is the gist of our human life. If we have made use of our life in a proper manner, we must get liberation before we die. That is what Einstein says. There is another book by Lincoln Barnett. The name of the book is Einstein and the Universe, in which Lincoln Barnett says man has a unique capacity. Every human being has got a unique capacity of transcending himself and perceiving himself in the act of perception. Every human being has got a unique capacity. Mind you, only human being, no other animals, no other birds. According to the old scriptures, out of 84 lakhs of species, 84 लाख योनि में मात्र मनुष्य योनि को भगवान प्राप्ति हो सकती है, आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान प्राप्त हो सकता है. This is what our scriptures said. Out of 84 lakhs of species, only human beings can have spiritual knowledge. But the modern science says no. There are 1 crore 25 lakhs of species. You know, they have multiplied, cloning and everything going on. But still it is not much difference. 84 lakh, 1 crore 25 lakh. They had no microscope thousands of years back, and yet they talked about 84 lakhs of species. But the modern science says 1 crore 25 lakhs of species. But they tell also the same thing. Dana Zohar says IQ is available with all the species, including the computers. EQ is available only with a few species. Elephants, cows, they have got emotional quotient. They have got that emotions. You know, they have 174 branches centers all over the world. Ramakrishna Mission, our headquarters in Bellumat, and 40 abroad, rest in India. We have a center in Uttaranchal, that is at Mayavati, is the name of the place, Advaita Ashrama Mayavati. If you go towards Pithoragarh, just before Pithoragarh there is Lohaghat. From Lohaghat you have to do about 13 kilometers up in the mountain. It is 6,500 feet high from the sea level. Beautiful mountain range all around you can see, snow range all around you can see. That Advaita Ashrama was established by Swami Vivekananda. When he had gone to Switzerland, he was very happy to see the Alps mountain full of snows. You know, Alps is not that high, but always full of snow like Himalayas. And seeing those Himalayan-like peaks, he told his host, that is Captain Sevier and Mrs. Sevier, I have got a dream to build an ashrama at the height of Himalayas, and all around there will be forest, and the whole mountain we have to take, and we will be practicing Advaita Vedanta there. This is my dream. And when Captain Sevier, Mrs. Sevier came along with them, along with Swamiji, when Swamiji came to India, they came along with him. And they really found out a piece of place, 65 acres of land in the vicinity, and they started Advaita Ashram Mayavati. So, that is where you can see all snow peaks, very deep forest. Because it is under our control, very deep forest. Other forests have been already cut, trees have been cut. But here nobody can cut the tree without the permission from the head of our monk there. So that is why it is a very dense forest. Even now tigers are available. Only 3-4 years back when I was there in Mayavati, I heard this incident. When I had gone to Mayavati, I heard this incident. A few days back, a tiger had come in the evening. A cow had given birth to a calf. The tiger came and took away the calf. And that cow became so much disturbed. And then the cow did not take food for 3 days. So much we tried. She did not take any food. She was so much emotionally upset by the tigers taking away the calf that she did not take food. After 5 days she died. But she did not take food. So you see how much EQ even a cow has got. So few species have got EQ also. But SQ is available only with the human beings. That is the discovery of the modern science. Dana Zohar says, scientifically it has been proved SQ is available only with the spiritual quotient, is available only with the human beings, and the old scripture said spiritual knowledge is available only with the human beings. If we are human beings, I think nobody has a doubt. If we are human beings, we have a special prerogative, a special birthright, हमारा जन्म सिद्ध अधिकार है to get this spiritual knowledge. We have our birthright to get infinite happiness, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, and conquest over death. In this very lifetime, we can do that. We have got that choice. We may or may not do it, but we have got that choice. Animals do not have choice. Tigers do not have choice. Elephants do not have choice. Only one species has got that choice, either to get infinite happiness, joy and all that. Otherwise, other four things are common. This is what our scriptures say. Ahar, nidra, bhay, maithunancha, samanam etat pashuvi naranam, dharmo hi tesham adhiko visheshah, dharmena hina pashuvi samana. Four things are common between other species and human beings. What are four? Ahar. Animals also take food, we also take food. Nidra. Animals also sleep, we also sleep. Bhay. Animals also get afraid, we also get afraid. Maithunan. The animals also produce and we also produce. The human beings also produce children. So then where is the difference? Only difference is this spirituality, SQ. IQ is available with all the species including the computers. EQ is available only with a few species, but SQ is available only with the human species. And that is why Lincoln Barnett says in his book Einstein and the Universe, man has a unique capacity of transcending himself and perceiving himself in the act of perception. And Niels Bohr, a Nobel Prize physicist, says beautifully, man is an actor and spectator in this great drama of life simultaneously. Only man, nobody else. We are actors and spectators in this great drama of life simultaneously. There is a drama going on and there is a fight between Bhima and Duryodhana. Both are having the gada. एक दूसरे गदा से मार रहे हैं. भीम जब दुर्योधन को मारता है, लोगों को लगता है जोर से मारा, बहुत जोर से मारा, पर भीम जब उसको मारने जाता है ऐसा दिखाता है ऐसा बहुत जोर से मार रहे हैं. वो जानता है कि मैं भीम हूं, ये दुर्योधन है, और ये भी जानता है कि मेरा असली नाम राम है, उसका नाम असली नाम श्याम है. दोनों 5 मिनट के बाद जब इंटरवल होगा एक साथ ग्रीन रूम में कॉफी पिएंगे. ये भी वो जानता है, इसलिए जोर से नहीं मारता. लोगों को लगता है बहुत जोर से मारा, जोर से नहीं मारता. क्यों? मालूम है मेरा फ्रेंड है. वी आर बोथ एक्टर्स एंड स्पेक्टेटर्स इन दिस ग्रेट ड्रामा ऑफ लाइफ साइमल्टेनियसली. ओनली वी कैन, नो अदर एनिमल कैन बिकम ए spectator. We can become, they are only actors, they are acting in this great drama of life, but we can act. At the same time we can think ourselves what we are acting, what I am doing. This awareness, transcending oneself in the act of perception, this is only a special prerogative of human beings. Getting infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, infinite happiness, infinite life in this very life by transcending limitations of time, space and causation and becoming one with the absolute truth, that special prerogative of only human beings. Now let us decide, what do we want in life? Of course we must have career development. Of course we must have earn money. Of course we must have ambitions, like to become like Bill Gates. We must have ambition to have more money, more money. At the same time, we must also know where do we end. What do we are going to take? Yes, you are trying very hard. You must try to get a gold medal. But ultimately, you must also remember gold medal will not go with you. That does not mean we should not try for gold medal. That does not mean we should not go for career development. That does not mean we should not earn money. But we must understand the value of everything. The value of all these things is absolutely zero at the time of death. For our individual sake, of course, we must earn money for our children, for our parents. We should not be selfish that, oh, I am going to die, so why should I care? No. We are human beings. We care for others. I am not saying we will not, but our priorities will change. And time management, I tell you one thing. The essence of time management, only one thing, setting up the priorities of life. That's all. The whole gist of time management is only this, setting up the priorities of life, setting up the priorities of your ambitions, setting up the priorities of your achievements. That's all. Once you do that, you will be able to give more time to your items which are priority wise, and give less time to those items which are not so important in the ultimate analysis. Maybe temporary you have. So we know purposely, yes, I know that I am wasting time, but I am purposely wasting. At least that much we must know. How much we know. And so before that we must know the priorities of life. Once the priorities are set, time management is very, very easy. Otherwise what will happen? All your efforts, saving the time by minute, second by second, ultimately very beautiful project, you come to know the topic of your project was something different. Whole project gone to pieces. All your time gone at one stroke. Just as Alexander was weeping, we will be weeping. Oh, kya kiya humne apne जीवन में? What did I achieve? I am not able to. At the time of death, we should not have any regrets कि हमने इतना टाइम मैनेजमेंट किया, बाद में ये टाइम मैनेजमेंट करने के बाद इतना सब अचीव किया, but ultimately it is of zero value. That should not happen. So, and even when you are trying to have time management, there are so many thousands of activities. Everybody, there are thousands of books to be read. You must know priority, which book is for priority. I am doing PhD in some history subject. There are books on geography also. There are books on chemistry, mathematics, physics also. There are books on so many other topics. But for the time being, I have to get maximum marks in my examination of PhD in history subject. Let me concentrate on history books now. After PhD, you can do it. In vacation, you go for novels, you go for fiction, you go for other books. But at present, my priority is my subject of PhD. So this setting up the priorities of life is very, very important. And before we talk about time management, we must also know the importance of time. First of all, we remember this thing, that all the great people in the history who have been great, or all those who have achieved something, what we call achievers in various fields, whether in the field of business, industries, whether in the field of education, social service, any field, any great person, they have consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly, they have followed the techniques of time management, and hence they got success, because they also have 24 hours. We also have 24 hours. Anybody getting less? Please tell me. Anybody getting less? There was a beautiful article in Reader's Digest, beautiful paragraph about time deposit. He says there is a typical bank deposits 86,400 rupees in your bank account every day morning, and whatever money you use, you can use any money, whatever you can use. But supposing if you do not use, this money will not be carried forward, that is gone. Next day morning again you will get 86,400 rupees. So what we should do? Utilize every rupee, because it cannot be carried forward. Utilize each rupee. And then it says, yes, there is a bank that is called time deposit. Every day morning you get 86,400 seconds deposited in your bank account. Whatever seconds you utilize fruitfully, that is yours. Whatever you cannot utilize properly, that is gone. Next day again 86,400 seconds you will get, if provided you are alive. It will come. But so one is time management of the whole life, another is now we are talking about the time management of every day, 24 hours. How to utilize 86,400 seconds in a profitable way, so that we can meet with the success, the same success with the achievers and the great people in the past, or those who are in the present have achieved. So item number one is time is important. Try to utilize each and every second. Item number two, that each and every one of us can utilize time properly and can benefit from time management, irrespective of whether we are executives, managers, students, teachers, each and everybody. has got a birthright to utilize the time because time is available, because every human being is getting 86,400 seconds. There is no such rule that you will get one less or some more. I will tell you afterwards how to get more than 86,400. That I will tell you later on last. I will tell you how to get more than 86,400 seconds, less last I will tell you. But for the time being, in general, 86,400 seconds. You cannot get more. Now utilize each and every second. Another formula you must remember is time and tide wait for none. Time and tide wait for none. The time that is gone, that is gone. Sometimes people say, yes, we must be very careful. Why? Why? Because time is money. I say no, time is not money. Time is more important than money. Why? Supposing if you are doing a business and you have loss of 1 crore rupees, there is a possibility that you may get a profit of 1 crore rupees or 2 crore rupees next year, and you can tide over your loss of 1 crore rupees by getting more profit next year. Is it possible? But supposing already 10:30, 10:25 today, now 10:26 already, okay. Now can you tell me, today is the date is 29 June 2013. Now 10:25 AM. Tell me whether 10:24 AM of 29 June 2013 will come again or not. Will it come again? Will it come? No. 10:25 will not. 10:26 will come, but 10:25 will not come. 10:30 will come, but 10:25 will not come. 10:25 will come again, but PM, not AM. But will come again 30th June, but not 29th June. Will come again, but 2014, not 2013. Yes, it will come same time, 10:25 AM of 29th June will come again in 2014. But the 10:25 AM of 29th June of 2013 gone forever. So time and tide wait for none. So try to utilize the second which is going slipping out of your hand. We must understand the importance of time because it is running out. Supposing we are going to be living here for, say, let us be optimistic, 100 years. And 50 years is gone, so now only 50 years only are left. No, 50 years are not left. Then what is left? Psychologists, sociologists, they have made a survey that average age, take it for 70 years. Average age, 70 years. But that does not mean there is no guarantee that you will live, we all will live for 70 years. No guarantee. This is average age. But let us, for example, that we are going to live for 70 years. I wish you all live for 100 years. But supposing we are living for up to 70 years. Now, what is the analysis they have made? Out of 70 years, research shows that an average person lives 70 years. This is how those years are spent. 28 years, this is average. 28 years in sleeping. Of course, for Kumbhakarna it will be much more. But average person, out of 70 years, not 100 years, mind you, I am talking about only 70 years. Out of 70, so percentage will be much more if you take it 100 years. I am talking out of 70 years, 28 gone for sleeping, and then 10 years for studying, 8 years recreation, average, but of course some people have got more for recreation, 5 years traveling. Oh, for me it will be, I think my half life has gone for traveling only. So the equation will be different, but 5 years of traveling, 6 years illness, 6 years illness, average. Some people, they are fond of more of illness, so they will be falling more. 4 years of eating. Some people enjoy eating more, so for them it will be more. 3 years of dressing. Of course, for women it will be more, for men it may be less. But nowadays men are also coming for competition. They are also taking more time in dressing. If you have to go for interview, more tie and this we have to see. Then 6 years working. This is the analysis. We were thinking we have got 70 years. No. Working time is only 6 years. So for example, if you are 35 years old, don't think that you have got 35 years more. Only 3 years of life, of working life is left. I mean, what is in your choice? Whatever you want to achieve, you have to achieve within 3 years if you are living for 70 years and if you are 35 years. Because half is gone. Half life is gone. Out of 6 years, only 3 years of working of life is remaining. Can you understand? Can you understand how much we have to be very careful in our time management? So, there is a beautiful saying I got somewhere, I am sharing with you. It is not mine, I got from somewhere, I do not know the source. Where it is told, and you must have also heard, if you want to know the importance of time, if you want to know the importance of 1 year, you ask a student, what is the importance of 1 year? You ask a student who has failed in examination, 1 year gone. Now, if you want to get the importance of 1 month, ask the mother who has delivered a premature baby. If you want to know the importance of 1 week, ask the editor of the weekly magazine how hard it is to complete the whole work in 1 week. If you want to know the importance of 1 day, ask the contractor who missed his tender just by 1 day. He was late in 1 day and he missed the tender of crores of rupees. If you want to know the importance of 1 hour, try to ask the mother who is waiting for her son to return from the school. For 1 hour, for her it is too big a thing. If you want to know the importance of 1 minute, ask the man who missed the train by 1 minute. If you want to know the importance of 1 second, ask the woman who avoided an accident just by a second. And if you want to know the importance of 1 millisecond, ask the athlete who lost a gold medal in Olympic. 1 millisecond, lost the gold medal. So even 1 millisecond is so important. And we are wasting not milliseconds, not seconds, not minutes, not hours, not days, years together. This is our situation. So let us know the importance of time. And there is a beautiful saying which I would like to share with you, that yesterday is history, and tomorrow is a mystery. It is a mystery. Yesterday is history, that is true, and tomorrow is a mystery, okay, and today is a gift. Today is a gift, and that is why it is called present. What is gift? Gift means present. Today is the gift. Why? Because that is why it is called present. The present is with you. The yesterday is a history and future is a mystery. So make use of the present, because it is a present. It is a gift to you. Make the best use of the gift that is present. Let us try to utilize the present time profitably. Our future is going to be bright. There is no doubt about it. But the accountants say in different way. Accountants have got their own language. What do they say? That yesterday is a cancelled check. You cannot get any money out of it. Yesterday is a cancelled check. अभी देना बैंक का कोई आपको देगा, जो बैंक खत्म होगी उसका चेक आपको लेगा 1 करोड़ रुपया. फायदा क्या है? कैंसल्ड चेक. Yesterday is a cancelled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. पता नहीं कल तक बैंक रहेगी कि नहीं. Promissory note. So yesterday is a cancelled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Today is cash. So try to make use of the cash. This is the cash money. Today, this is cash, hard cash on your hand. Try to utilize this cash in a proper manner, and that is the time management. So, once we know the importance of time, then only we will be able to really go for the techniques of time management. Before we go for the techniques of time management, we must know the benefits of time management. Once we get time management, we can do more work in less time. Our efficiency increases, our output increases, our productivity increases, then we have better health, we have better human relations, and we have less stress. We will be talking about how stress management, time management are related to each other. One more point that I would like to share is that before we go for the tea break, after the tea break we will be talking about A to Z of time management. The paper is with you. I will try to explain that paper. So we will talk about A to Z of techniques of time management in the second session, and then also we will have question answer session, a little bit of meditation if the time permits. But one thing is there. Some people think that time management means punctuality, coming in time. That is what they say. To a certain is true. But time management is not only keeping the time. Time management is not only punctuality. Punctuality is very important for success. Punctuality is very important, but it is a part of time management. As I told you, even if you are punctual or whatever it is, there are so many other types of techniques that you must know, and you must also know the goal of life, the priorities of life. Basically, as I told you, it is nothing but setting up the priorities of life, analyzing and all that. So punctuality is not time management, but punctuality is important for time management, and we have to learn certain things. And of course, punctuality is very good. We are having blind imitation of Western materialistic culture. Swami Vivekananda said, what we want is Western science coupled with Vedanta. He also said we must take good things from the Western countries. What we want is East and West combined. The best of East and the best of West will give you the best of everything. So he was not very orthodox that, we do not go to the Western countries, do not take. He went at the time when it was considered a sin to cross the ocean. That time, against the wish of others, against the wishes of all the Hindu leaders, he went, crossed the ocean and participated in the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893. Message of harmony of religions. But we did not take the message of harmony of religions. So what happened? Exactly after 108 years, there was another 9/11. The plane, the World Tower was crossed. Why? Because the people who were sitting there in the plane, who were driving the plane into the buildings, they were thinking that they were doing a great job. They were doing the Lord's work. But actually this is fanaticism. Swamiji said, fanaticism, bigotry and sectarianism. This has been the cause of bloodshed for many years in the past. And he told on 11th September 1993, and I fervently pray that the bell that tolled this morning in the honor of this convention may be the death of all sorts of fanaticism, of all sorts of dogmatism, of all sorts of sectarianism, and of all sorts of persecutions, whether with the sword or whether with the pen, in the name of religion. But that did not happen. We did not listen to the message properly. Another 9/11. And so we are now going to have another 9/11. This year, 11th September 1893, same Art Institute where Swami Vivekananda gave his speech, we are going to have a program. The government of India is coming forward to have a program in consultation with the Art Institute, where we will again talk about the harmony of religions and the message of Swami Vivekananda, because this is the 150th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. But whatever it is, what I was talking about is that Swami Vivekananda always favored the best of the East and the West. He went to the Western countries. He said, I have a message to the West as Buddha had a message to the East. He said, what is India to me? I love India, but the whole world belongs to me. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And that is why he internally felt, inside his heart of the hearts, he felt that really all the people sitting were his brothers and sisters. It is one family, and that is why he started his speech. Rather than ladies and gentlemen, he started, dear sisters and brothers of America. And that touched the hearts of Americans so much. 7,000 people stood up and clapped and clapped and clapped for more than 2 minutes. First of all, Swamiji was afraid, what has happened? But then he later on discovered, no, he was being appreciated. But it had come from his heart, and that touched the heart of the Americans. He really felt, they're all my brothers and sisters. And that is why it touched the hearts of the Americans. Nobody talked to them like this. And then he gave with so much of love his message. Ye, the children of immortal bliss, holy and perfect beings. Vedanta does not recognize sin, it recognizes error. And the greatest error you are making when you call yourself a sinner, or when you call yourself a sinner, ye, the children of immortal bliss, holy and perfect beings, Ye divinities are not sinners, it is a sin to call a man so. It is standing liable on human nature. Come up, O lions, and shake up the delusion that you are sheep. Your souls immortal, spirits free, blessed eternal. You are not matter, you are not bodies. Matter is servant, not ye the servant of matter. And Americans got so much of peace of mind that Swamiji had to stay there for 3.5 years for preaching the message of this, for giving the nectar of Vedanta, the message of Vedanta, the message of India's spiritual wisdom. And then he stayed for there, and what time management he did. Sometimes he had to do 10 or 12 lectures per week, and he has to move here and there. But inside that also, he was maintaining his dignity, maintaining his sanctity, maintaining his tranquility. Whenever he used to go by tram, sometimes the conductor would say, where do you want to go? I wanted to go that, oh, that station has gone, but he was meditating there. So last station has come, now again go back. Even during those moments of great panicky, he was maintaining tranquility. That is the secret of time management. That time management is of no use which gives you stress. That time management is no use which gives you blood pressure. That time management is of no use which gives you bypass surgery. We want to manage the time in such a manner, maintaining our tranquility, maintaining our meditative mood, maintaining our dignity, maintaining our health. That is proper time management. That is what shown by Swamiji. And so what I was talking about punctuality, he also may say punctuality is very important. But sometimes, you know, when he was going to take the train, and all the disciples, American disciples, you know, they are very much this punctual. Swamiji, you must hurry up, you must hurry up. But Swamiji is walking like a lion, gradually, slowly. Yes, Swamiji, Swami, we will miss the train. And Swamiji just smiles and, is there no next train? Now they were bewildered. Is there no next train? But that is for Swami Vivekananda. We don't should follow that. So, but the thing is that the secret of time management is not only punctuality not at the cost of the health, but punctuality we must take. So Swamiji said we must take the best of the West. For example, blind imitation of Western materialistic culture he was against. But he said we must take good things of the West, but that we are not taking. You know, our 11th president of the Ramakrishna Mission was Swami Gambhiranandji. You know, before joining the order, he was in military. He maintained his military attitude. He was very punctual to the minute. It was very difficult for us to work with him. And I had the pleasure and privilege to work with him, to be associated with him when he was in Ranchi. When I was in Ranchi, we used to go out walking every day. 5:30 a.m. after his meditation, he will go for a walk, and I used to accompany him. One day I discovered that it was 5:35. I said, I will catch hold of him today. Swamiji, your time management has failed. Today is 5:35. Later I discovered my clock was wrong. His clock was perfect. This is All India Radio time. All India Radio standard time. See, he told me. And my house just become like, he had conquered, he had won every minute. But before that, this is after my joining and I was in Ranchi, but when I became, first of all I became monk in 76 when I joined Belu Math. So somehow or the other I was a fool. At that time I did not know. He was the general secretary. Later on he became the 11th president. He was at that time general secretary. I took upon myself the task of reading out the book to him because his eyes were not proper. So I said, Swamiji, I want to undertake that duty of reading out the books. I thought I will have holy association with him. I had just joined recently, so I was very bold. I did not know the general secretary and I am just a pre-professional. At that time, this did not strike me. Then he was very serious, but he was very loving. He said, okay, you come at 1:45 every day, noon, 1:45, you come, and then 15 minutes of reading. This was his routine was very much fixed. 4 a.m. get up. Up to 5:30, meditation, reading, all that. 5:30 will go for walking. It will not be 5:31. Everything. 6:45 will take breakfast. It should not be 6:46. Everything, all his servants, these people have to be very, very alert. Every minute. He will go to the office this time, everything. So after, because night we take less sleep, we take a nap in the afternoon, and he will take a nap of half an hour, then again he is on the job. Now 1:45, for 2 days I went, I used to sit down, I read out, and then he will listen. Now third day what had happened, I had recently joined, Bengal climate did not suit me, and there was no fan at that time. Now the fans have come, no fan, and such sultry climate, so much perspiring, and nights also did not have sleep, morning also no, nights also no sleep, and whole day we have to work. So that day noon, after lunch, I got a little nap. And when I got up, I saw it is already 1:45. My God, 1:45 I have to be in his chamber. Immediately washed my face and ran. By the time I reached his office, it was 1:50. Every day it used to happen, 1:45, I'll be sitting on the bench outside, 1:45 his door will open, exactly. I will enter, sit down. Now that day I saw the door is open already. And I became, what will happen? And then I sat down. He told me to sit down. This side he is there, side I am sitting down, and I have to read out, the book is in my hand. He did not utter a single word. Only one thing what he did was, there was a clock, small clock. He just turned the clock like this. My God, you can understand how much. He did not say a single word. He just turned the clock towards me to tell me you are 5 minutes late. That was a great lesson. Punctuality is so much important. Time is so much important. That was a great lesson. I will talk about the 13th president of Ramakrishna Mission, Swami Ranganathananji. His books and CDs are available. You might have heard his name. He was an internationally famous person. Now he had some friends in Japan. So his friends from Japan came. He said, Swamiji, it's a very, very wonderful thing. You see, we produce so many watches and clocks in our country, but we have only one watch per family, and rest of that we export to get foreign exchange. Here in India, you say you are a poor country, but everybody wearing a watch. Even a rickshaw wala, cycle rickshaw wala is wearing a watch. But if you ask, what is the time? बाबूजी देख लीजिए. उसको time देखना भी नहीं आता. बाबूजी आप देख लीजिए. He doesn't know how to look at the time, but he has got a watch. It is an ornament. And so he said, it's very strange. In our country, we are having one watch per family. You are a poor country. Everybody wearing a watch, even including a rickshawala. And the greatest tragedy is that everybody wearing a watch, nobody keeping time. Everybody wearing a watch, and nobody keeping time in India. We have, Indian Standard Time. Indian Standard Time is minimum half an hour late. Indian Standard Time. Of course, when I was in Porbandar, I did not know that Porbandar is not in India. Porbandar has got its own standard time, Porbandar Standard Time. When I went there, Ramakrishna Mission, we tried to make each and every second, every minute. 8:30 a.m. the program will start, means it will start 8:30, not 8:31. And then it has to finish at 9:30 or 10, it will finish. Evening 6 o'clock means 6 o'clock, and it will end at 8 o'clock. Now, some people came at 8:30 and said, program था ना, कहाँ हो गया? बंद हो गया. Program हो गया, खत्म हो गया, सब चले भी गए. When I was invited for some program in the beginning, for me, I feel it's 6 o'clock, so I reach at 5:45 so that I am not late. I find it is closed. At 6:15, 6:30, the peon came to open the gate. बोले वो 6 o'clock प्रोग्राम था ना, हाँ वो अभी तो बाबू साहब आए नहीं है, ऑर्गेनाइजर्स आए नहीं, उसके पहले मैं पहुंच गया. फिर मैं समझ गया पोरबंदर स्टेट टाइम कुछ और है, इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड टाइम से भी आगे है. So anyway, whatever it is, Indian Standard Time, half an hour late. This is our. So everybody wearing a watch, nobody keeping time. But from Western countries we have to learn. I'll give you only 2 examples. In 2004, I was invited by the Coventry University to give the presentation. It was a second international conference on disaster management. As you know, Ramakrishna Mission was started by Swami Vivekananda in order to worship the human beings in the spirit of worship. Service to the human beings in the spirit of worship. Shiva Jnana Jiva Seva. So, basically for implementing the message of Sri Ramakrishna of Shiva Jnana Jiva Seva, worshipping the divine in human beings, Swami Vivekananda started Ramakrishna Mission. So, we have got 14 indoor hospitals, 90 outdoor dispensaries, 6,000 education institutions with 6 lakh students and 1 crore patients getting benefited every year, and big rural and tribal development projects, and most important disaster management. Anywhere, any disaster, first day our relief work starts. Now our Uttaranchal relief work is already going on, for which we are taking the donations. So, anytime any disaster, we do the relief. And you know, 26 January 2001, there was earthquake. So, within 5 minutes we started our relief work, and we told all our, and you know, our main thing is job is begging. So, we begged money. We collected 20 crores of rupees. With that we constructed, first of all we did primary relief work, and then we constructed 81 school buildings and 6 colonies. But these 81 school buildings we had to do on an emergency scale, because the earthquake was in January and the June month the schools were opening. So, they wanted, so within, and our rehabilitation was started in March. Within 2 or 3 months we started giving the schools to the government, and they were very much surprised. But we went for prefabrication technology, so that is why we could do it. But whatever it is, the second international conference disaster management, they wanted to know how could we finish the job so quickly. So, I went there for presentation, because I had constructed 37 school building in Porbandar district alone out of the 81 school buildings. So, I went there for presentation. So, when I went there, I thought of visiting our other centers in UK, Germany, France, Switzerland, others. So, after Covent University, I went to Birmingham, where we have our official center. From Coventry I went there. Now, in London there is some Vivekananda center that is operating. It is not to Ramakrishna Mission, but some people are doing very good job. So, they said, Swamiji, when you come, we are working among the youth, why not you give a lecture to our youth? I said, okay, I agreed. So, the time was 6:30, and I knew that these people are very, very punctual. So, I should not cut a sorry figure. Already they have got a very low opinion about Indians. I said I should not at least give them a chance to say that we are late. So, I told the person who was driving me that let us start, it is only 2 hours. So, if we start 4:30, we can reach 6:30. I said let us start 2 hours earlier. So, we started 3 o'clock, 1.5 hours earlier, and it was very good decision on my part, because you know, you cannot depend on English weather. Of course, there is a proverb which I will not tell you, which you know. You cannot depend on 2 things in UK. One is the English weather, second I will not say. But anyway, so English weather, any time there will be rain, any time there will be storm, and this is what happened. There was a big storm and heavy rain, and so we could not see our way, and we had to stop afterwards. And that time GPS was not there. I am talking about 2004. Now GPS have come, so no problem. So we have to ask the way, and finally we reach at 6 o'clock, right in time. But after going there, I find the whole hall is empty. So I took it for granted. In India, what happens if such a big storm? The program is cancelled. So I was very happy, and so when I was told by the organizers, will you have a cup of tea? Yes, yes, very welcome tea, such rain is coming, and I will have a hot cup of tea, very nice. When I was taking the tea, the organizer says, Swamiji, you will have to be very quick, because we are getting late for the function. Huh? I had thought, why? The function is not cancelled? He said, who told you that? Because I said, 15 minutes back, I said the hall is empty. You come, the whole hall is full. My God, within 5 minutes, whole hall is full. People, in spite of the storm, they have come, there is a big stand, they have put their umbrellas, their raincoats there, and all sitting in the hall. Exactly 6:30 the program started. 7:30 I was told by the organizers, you must finish 1 hour talk, because the people have to go to some other place, otherwise they will lose the road. Ready? Chalo, aate hain. Otherwise, हाँ, कहाँ? कैंटीन में? कैंटीन में जाएंगे तो ओके, कैंटीन में आएंगे चाय पीने के लिए। बहुत, अभी चाय की ही बात हो रही थी। हाँ, यस, वेरी वेलकम टीचर। देखो चाय का कैसा नाम लेते चाय का संदेश आ गया। उस समय मैं चाह रहा था। एनीवे, देन आई सॉ द हॉल इज फुल and 7 o'clock, 7:30 they said, Swamiji, you must stop at 7:25 because 5 minutes will be taken by vote of thanks. 7:30 they have to go for some other appointment. So we have to learn these things from them. They are very to the minute. I'll give just one example and finish. When I went, that time after UK I went to Switzerland. After France, Germany, Switzerland. Now Switzerland, you know, I told you Swamiji got his inspiration after seeing the Alps, mountain, snow rangelets. So there is a place called Safe, beautiful place. In the Safe, in wilderness, there is a beautiful temple of Saint Mary, beautiful. And Swamiji was so much impressed by Saint Mary's temple that he meditated there. I had heard about it, so I said I must go and visit that Saint Mary's temple. Now it is a little in the wilderness. After I visited the temple, I was so much enamored. I sat down for meditation for 15 minutes. 20 minutes. Suddenly I found that the bus is going to start at 3:45. Already it is 3:30, and then I have to go down quickly because it is in the marketplace. Bus will not come to the mountain. So I ran down to the marketplace from where I will get the bus. Exactly 3:45 I reached there, and I waited at the bus stand for 5-10 minutes. The bus is not coming. My God, I thought Switzerland, the Western countries, they believe in time. Here also buses are late like India. Then I asked somebody, why the bus is late? He said, what? Bus already came and left. Huh? Exactly 3:35 it came. For 1 minute only it stops. 3:30 it went. My watch was late by 2 minutes only. 2 minutes cost me so much. So from that time I keep my watch 2 minutes ahead. Keep the ahead time 2 minutes ahead. 2 minutes is very important because we are calculating always, oh, there is so much of time. I was late by 1 minute, I missed the bus. So that is why we must be punctual. But ultimate analysis, punctuality has to be maintained, is very important. We have to learn this from the Western countries. But punctuality is only one part of time management. There are various other techniques of time management which we will discuss after the tea. Let us have a cup of tea. Thank you.